we're going to be going on now to example number 3. And before we start talking about this rule right here, let's just go and review what you learned in last class regarding negative exponents. Like if you had 7 to the power of negative 2, if you remember, what that means is I take the reciprocal of 7, right? So 7 right now is 7 over 1, so I flip this. So if I flip that, then I'm going to have 1 over 7 right here, right? And then this now becomes a positive exponent. So that means this would have became 1 over 49. And we'll do one more here. If you had 2 to the power of negative 3, that means I have to flip the 2, so it becomes 1/2. Okay, so like I'm just taking the reciprocal, 1 over that. And then this becomes a positive exponent, 3. And so that means I get 1 over 8. Okay, so we're going to use that same principle that we learned, and now we're just going to apply it now. When I have a to the negative m over n, so now when our the exponent, when it's a fraction, what happens is, again, we're going to do 1 over, but then the m over n is just going to carry on into the bottom over here in the denominator. Okay, so let's see if we can apply this rule to these guys over here. And they get just a tad bit lengthy, but nothing that we can't handle here. All right. So first one right here, let's first rewrite this, right? So this means that if this is a 1 right here, I have to do the reciprocal. So 1 over 81 to the power of 3 over 4. Okay. So now we just have to simplify 81 to the power of 3 over 4. Okay. So let's remember what this means. This means 81 to the 1/4 power, and then we raise that to the power of 3. Okay, so we did that in last example there. All right. So what is 81 to the power of 1 over 4? Well, again, that means the 4th root of 81, right? And I'm not going to be able to write that every single time here, but if you can write that, if you want to rewrite that as the 4th root of 81, you can. I mean, that's what this means right here, right? So the 4th root of 81 is 3. So I can make that now 3 to the power of 3. Okay, so see what I just did there? This 81 to the power of 1/4 is 3, you see? And this is the same thing as the 4th root of 81. Okay, so 1 over 3 to the power of 3 means 1 over 3 times 3 times 3, which is just 1 over 27. And that would be our final answer then, 1 over 27. All right, let's try this little dude out over here. So this means 1 over 36 to the power of 3/2. So notice that if you have a negative exponent, okay, that's when we do this, okay? When the exponent is negative, I write it as 1 over, and then I just write this exact same thing in the denominator, but I make the exponent positive now, okay? All right, so now let's simplify the denominator, and the denominator is the bottom, right? And so I can rewrite this as 1 over 36 to the power of 1/2 and raise that to the power of 3. Okay, so as you can see, we just keep building on the rules that we learned from last examples. And what is 36 to the power of 1 over 2? Well, isn't that the square root of 36? Or just 6, right? So that means that's going to be 6 to the power of 3, okay? So this is 6, all right? 36 to the power of 1 over 2 is just 6. And then 6 to the power of 3, 6 times 6 is 36, times 1 more 6 is 216. All right? Now look at C. Oh, man. Oh, little trick-a-lee right there. Trick-a-me. Well, check this out. Let's follow the same principle. Just because this is a fraction doesn't mean we change anything here. So let's do 1 over, right? 1 over, and then 64 over 25, and we raise this whole thing. It's all still being raised to the power of 3 over 2. Okay? Check this out now. So since we have a fraction, we're going to raise 64 to the power of 3 over 2. And we're going to raise 25 to the power of 3 over 2. Meaning I can rewrite this as, watch this now, 1 over 64 to the power of 3 over 2. Okay? All over 25 to the power of 3 over 2. Okay, see there? So basically, 64 is being raised to the power of 3 halves, and 25 is being raised to the power of 3 halves. So now we have to simplify the bottom, and then simplify. Oops, sorry about that, guys. That's my email there. I'll go and just close that. Okay, we're going to need to simplify each of these numbers. All right, so let's do that then. So equals 1 over, okay, so this right here means 64 to the power of 1/2, all raise that to the power of 3. And that's all over. Now let's rewrite this guy, 25 to the power of 1/2, all raised to the power of 3. Okay? So now let's simplify each of these now. Okay, so that equals 1 over, so let's simplify this, okay? 64 to the 1/2 means 8, right? Because that's the square root of 64. So 8 cubed, let's see, 8 times 8 times another 8 is going to be 512. Probably just use a calculator to do that. And then this right here, 25 to the power of 1/2 is 5. So 5 to the power of 3 means 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. Okay. Now, this looks really weird, right? We have 1 over 512 over 125. That looks really weird. We don't want to leave it like that. So check this out here. Just little side notes. Okay, check out this little side note. Okay. What is, and this is just a side example, just so that we could understand what this means right here. Okay. Say if I had 1 over, I'm just going to use simple numbers here for the sake of this example. If I did 1 over 4 over 9, so it's 1 over, and then the denominator is a fraction. Now watch this. This means 1, okay, that's a 1. This division bar can be written as our division symbol, so 1 divided by, and then 4/9. Okay, so anytime that we have a number divided by a fraction, we're going to do the keep, change, flip little cool trick there. I keep the 1, I change the division to multiply, and I flip the 4/9. So now it becomes 9/4. So 1 times 9/4 is just 9/4. Okay, so if you notice this here, it looks just like this guy right here. So that's the same thing as saying 1 divided by 512 divided by 1 over 25, right? But then if I flip the 1 over 25 and multiply, then our final answer is going to be 1/25 over 512. Okay, hopefully that made sense. This little example showed you what do you do when you have a fraction in the denominator there. Okay, my stuff's getting kind of crowded in here. Let's see if we can do this part D now. Okay, so this means 1 over 243, and I raise that to the power of 1/5. And I'm kind of just skipping that middle step right now and just going straight to how I rewrite this. So 243 to the 1/5. You might have to play around with that a little bit on a calculator to figure that out. But that's going to be 3. 3 to the power 5 is 243. So I could write that as 1 over 3 to the power 3. Okay, so this whole thing right here is 3. So that means you get 1 over 27, because 3 times 3 times 3. All right, so I have example E and F now. So I have a lot of examples here. If you kind of get it, you're like, all right, man, look, I got this. You can, I guess, go and stop now. But if you want more examples, we're going to do these last two. All right, so this right here means 1 over 4 to the power of 5 over 2. Okay, now let's rewrite this, right? That's 1 over 4 to the power of 1/2, to the power of 5. So let's rewrite this. 4 to the 1/2 means the square root of 4, so that's just 2. So 1 over 2 to the power of 5. All right, and 2 to the power of 5 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And we'll get 1 over 32. Cool beans. All right, and another fraction one. Fraction and a fraction. All right, so this means 1 over 216 over 125, and that's all being raised to the power of positive 2/3. Okay, so just like we did over here, we have to rewrite 216 and rewrite 125. Okay, so I'm going to go like this now. So if I rewrite 216, it's going to be 216 raised to the 1/3, and then you raise that to the power of 2, and that's all over. And now let's rewrite 125 as 125 raise that to the power of 1/3 squared. Okay, so let's simplify each one now. 1 over, let's see, so 216 to the power of 1/3 is going to give us, let's see here, that's going to give us, hold on here, that's going to give us 6. Okay, I could do this. 6, right? 6 times 6 times 6 is going to give us 216. And I square that all over. And now 125 raised to the 1/3, that's going to be 5, and then square. Okay, so 216 to the 1/3 is 6, and 125 to the 1/3 is 5. So now let's simplify this. I'm going to just go down a little bit here. 1 over 6 squared over 5 squared. So that's 1 over 36 over 25. Okay, so 6 squared is 36. 5 squared is 25. And last but not least, we do that cool trick, the keep, change, flip. So and basically what you do is you just take the reciprocal of this. So it's going to be 25 over 36. And there's a grip of examples there.